Let's turn now to Ottawa. Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne is making a budget-related announcement this morning. So let's listen.
I'd like to also underscore the presence of a Secretary of State. He's responsible for financial institutions. Wayne, he's here somewhere. He's just behind me. You'll see how important it is to work with the financial institutions.
Financial crimes, and we'll be working with financial institutions. I wanted to say hello also to Martha Hayek, which is the CEO of Elder Abuse Prevention. Thank you for your leadership. You've been helping us for many, many years. I want to say also thank you to Anthony Quinn, the president of the Canadian Association of Retired Persons. That is touching retired persons across the nation. Christian Loignon, qui est de la Banque nationale du Canada, qui lui est un spécialiste
from the National Bank of Canada, who's a specialist in financial crimes or prevention of financial crimes, here with us.
Did a great job, and thank you for your leadership. You know, you've been there. She is the executive director of the Canadian Centre for Women's Empowerment. Et vous allez voir aussi l'impact.
You'll also see the impact that this can have. We've conducted analysis on equality and violence. We're going to be taking concrete measures to deal with those issues, and we'll be speaking with the president of the Women's Caucus.
We have the CEO of the Canadian Banker Association, which was with me in Washington just last week. And we did a good roundtable. We had the FBI, we had the Treasury, we had the people who fight these things, financial crime, money laundering, going after terrorists. So we had the A-team around the table, and we were together on that. So as colleagues would have seen, and everyone at home watching, the world is rapidly changing in scope, scale, and speed. And this is why we need to take unprecedented actions to make sure that we protect Canadians. With new risks to our sovereignty, our economy, and our values, we need to take strong action. Canada's new government is meeting these challenges head-on with focus, determination, and obviously action. On November 4th, I will be tabling our budget, our bold plan to transform our economy and build Canada strong through generational investments and also fiscal discipline. To build a stronger country, we must first and foremost protect Canadians against all types of crimes, including financial crimes, scams, and abuse. Just last week, as I was saying, I was in Washington with my G7 counterparts, where I hosted a roundtable. Canada was hosting a roundtable on financial crime and fraud to really exchange best practices with global partners and making sure that we understand what's going on around the world, because as you would appreciate, financial crimes know no border. So there's a need to coordinate on the international level. This summer, I also had the opportunity to visit La Guardia di Finanza, which is Italy's top financial crime unit, to learn how they protect their own citizens against financial crimes. La fraude et la criminalité financière évoluent rapidement.
And financial crime is growing quickly, and our response needs to be targeted and determined. Hoping for better global practices and relying on the announcement made last week by the Prime Minister of Canada, we are taking new measures this morning to ensure that all Canadians are better protected. Today, the new Government of Canada is announcing concrete measures. This will ensure the financial well-being of Canadians and combat fraud and financial exploitation. In the 2025 budget, we will be announcing ambitious measures to protect Canadians, especially our seniors and those at most risk of financial abuse. We will do so with strength and determination against organized crime, money laundering, anyone who commits these crimes. As you know, seniors are often the most vulnerable and taking advantage of financial security and seniors' trust.
First ever national anti-fraud strategy. This is a big, bold step that we're taking this morning. As fraud becomes more sophisticated, more Canadians are being impacted. Fraud is an issue across sectors, as fraudsters increasingly use text messages, emails, and social media to target victims. This means firms across the technology, telecommunication, and financial sectors must step up. This strategy will explore new policies and action that require these sectors to work more closely together to protect Canadians, Just to give you a sense of perspective, financial scams costed Canadians $643 million in 2024, and we have seen a large increase since 2020. Financial crimes, which is much broader, run into the tens of billions every year in Canada, and we must take bold action to stop that. I want to take a moment to thank and recognize the proactive leadership shown by industry partners, many of whom are with us this morning, that have been at the forefront of this fight. Many people have been engaging with us to make sure we take bold action. This will include initiatives like the Canadian Anti-Scam Coalition, which is led by the Canadian financial institutions, tech, and telecom companies. This national strategy will now build upon the vital initiatives you have already launched, and we're going to be working in partnership. Comme première étape, le gouvernement proposera des modifications à la loi sur les banques.
Amendments to the Banking Act. This will require banks to put in place policies and procedures to combat fraud, and also to give consumers more control over their accounts to combat money theft. For example, putting limits on debit amounts or who can access our accounts. It's essential that Canada hold those criminals responsible.
That's why the government is announcing also something I'm very proud, a new financial crime agency. This is modeled against the best in the world. Some of you may know the Financial Crime Unit in the United Kingdom. This is going to be something similar. This is going to be Canada's lead enforcement agency for combating financial crimes, including financial fraud and money laundering, as well as recovering criminal proceeds. This is a big, bold step to fight against organized crime and to fight against financial crime. We are working to quickly introduce legislation by the spring to stand up this new agency to protect Canadians. Lastly, the government will also work with stakeholders and banks to develop a code of conduct for the prevention of economic abuse. Economic abuse occurs when individuals access to money and financial independence is controlled or exploited, undermining their autonomy. The intent of the code is to ensure that bank positions themselves well to identify, prevent, and respond to economic abuse. Le secteur financier canadien a un rôle
The Canadian
crucial à
financial
jouer pour
sector has a
détecter
key role
rapidement
to play in the detection of these crimes and to give a voice to victims of financial fraud, especially for the most vulnerable populations. The new Code of Conduct will have clear expectations on how financial institutions can identify and respond to economic abuse and better protect Canadians.
And help you feel more secure in how you save, spend, and how you invest. Most of us know someone who had their credit card compromised, fallen for a scam, or faced suspicious financial activity or outright exploitation. Ces expériences fâcheuses sont beaucoup trop courantes.
These experiences are far too common, and that's why it's urgent that we take action to better protect Canadians against fraud and financial abuse in Canada. To conclude, we're taking decisive measures to fight financial crime. Canadians can feel safer about their money and in control of their future.
So I'm proud to be standing here with our caucus, with our colleagues, and leader of the community to fight for Canadians, to make sure we take bold actions to stop financial crime and that we can help victims along the way. So with that, I'm glad to turn over to my dear colleague, Secretary McLean, which will be addressing this group, and then we'll be happy to take questions. Secretary McLean, the floor is yours. Merci.